Olivia Carter had spent all afternoon rehearsing the moment in her mind, the sparkle of the restaurant lights, the soft music drifting from the grand piano, and the love in Ethan's eyes as he finally asked the question she had been waiting 3 long years to hear. Tonight, she believed, would be the beginning of the rest of her life. But reality shattered differently. She sat across from Ethan in the most elegant restaurant in the city, a place she could barely afford to breathe in, let alone dine. Her sapphire blue dress, the one Ethan once said made her look like a dream, shimmered beneath the golden chandelier. She smiled nervously at him, fingers twisting together beneath the table. He hadn't spoken much all evening, barely looked at her. Something felt wrong. Her phone vibrated. Ethan didn't notice. Or maybe he didn't care. As he stared blankly into his untouched glass of wine, Olivia hesitated, then glanced at the screen. A message. From him. I can't do this anymore. We're done. Don't make a scene. Her vision blurred. The blood in her veins turned to ice. She read the message again, hoping it might change if she blinked. Ethan finally looked up, but instead of concern, there was relief. He stood up, smoothing his suit jacket. I'm sorry. Leave. You deserve something simpler, he muttered, as if she were a burden he was finally free from. He walked away, just like that. Olivia's heart cracked under the weight of humiliation. Around her, diners whispered behind crystal glasses. Some stared with pity, others with cruel curiosity. She couldn't breathe. She pushed her chair back, desperate to escape. But when she stood, her knees trembled. That's when a deep voice spoke behind her. Are you all right? She turned and saw him, a stranger, tall, sharply dressed, dark eyes that seemed to read every secret she tried to hide. His presence was startling, commanding, like someone who belonged to a world she had only seen from a distance. Olivia's lips parted, but no sound came out. Tears clung to her lashes, threatening to betray her crumble. The stranger's gaze softened. Let him go, he murmured. One day, he'll regret this more than you can imagine. Olivia frowned, confused by the certainty in his tone. Who are you? He offered a small, enigmatic smile. Someone who knows what it feels like to be abandoned. Before she could ask more, the restaurant lights flickered. Once, -1. Then cut out completely, drowning the room in darkness. Gasps filled the air, and the mysterious stranger whispered sharply, "Stay close to me." The restaurant erupted into uneasy murmurs as darkness swallowed the room. And now fear scraped at her throat. She felt a steady hand touch her arm. It's just a temporary outage, the stranger said calmly, his voice smooth like velvet yet carrying quiet authority. Please, come with me. She hesitated only a moment before allowing him to guide her through the maze of shocked guests. Despite the chaos, he moved with certainty, as if he could see in the dark. The faint glow of emergency lights blinked alive near the entrance, finally illuminating his features more clearly. He was striking, strong jawline, dark hair slightly tousled from running a hand through it, and eyes holding storms he tried to bury. He let go of her arm gently as they stepped into the lobby. Thank you, Olivia whispered, her voice still trembling. You don't need to thank me, he answered, brushing off the gratitude like it troubled him. No one should be left to drown while others watch. There was something in the way he said it, like he had lived that very nightmare. Olivia finally steadied herself. I'm Olivia Carter. A small pause. Then, Damien, just his first name. Nothing more. Well, until the restaurant manager rushed past them, panicked. Mr. Knight, the generator is malfunctioning. We're doing everything we can. Olivia blinked. Knight? She looked at him again. The expensive suit, the silent command in his posture, the way people responded instantly to his presence. You own this place? She asked softly. Damien's jaw tightened. He didn't like questions. It doesn't matter, he said. What matters is. The restaurant lights snapped back on. Olivia flinched at the return brightness. A group nearby gossiped loudly. Something about the Damien Knight, the billionaire recluse, the man with the lockdown empire. No one knows where he's been for 4 years. Damien noticed her listening and redirected her attention. Do you have a way home? He asked. Olivia shook her head. Her voice faltered. I don't know where to go. I can't face going home tonight. Everyone will ask about the proposal that never happened. Only then did Damien look at her fully, really look. Not with pity, with understanding. Something shifted inside him, a memory flickering behind those intense eyes. Sometimes the people we trust the most destroy us, he said quietly. But that doesn't mean we stop living. He reached into his coat, pulling out a sleek black card. No name, no logo, only a number embossed in silver. If you ever feel like you have nowhere to go, he said, placing the card into her hand, call me. Olivia stared down at it. Her fingers trembled again, but this time from curiosity, not fear. Why would you help a stranger? She asked. Damien's voice lowered, the response loaded and cryptic. Who said you're a stranger? Her breath caught. The night air outside the restaurant was crisp, carrying the chill of autumn and the sting of Olivia's heartbreak. She stood on the sidewalk, staring down at the black card in her hand. Elegant, mysterious, like the man who had given it to her. Just one call, one lifeline. But who was Damien Knight? People whispered his name like it belonged to a ghost, a billionaire who vanished from the public eye years ago, only to resurface suddenly, cloaked in silence and rumors. Olivia closed her eyes, trying to gather herself. The humiliation, the breakup, the curious stares, the weight of the evening pressed down until she felt as though she might collapse. Her phone buzzed again. A message from Ethan. I hope you didn't embarrass me after I left. We're just not compatible anymore. Don't make this ugly. Her fingers tightened around the phone until they ached. The card in her other hand suddenly felt warmer, promising. Before she could think twice, she tapped Damien's number. The call didn't even ring once. Olivia. His voice came through immediately, smooth, composed, as if he had been waiting. She swallowed. I just needed someone to talk to. You don't have to explain, Damien said. Are you still outside the restaurant? Yes, stay there. I'm humming. The line clicked off before she could protest. Moments later, a sleek obsidian car, completely silent, pulled up to the curb. A driver stepped out and opened a back door, bowing his head respectfully. Miss Carter, Mr. Knight asked me to bring you somewhere safe. Olivia hesitated. Logic screamed that it was reckless, but her heart, shattered, lonely, whispered that there was nothing left to lose. She slid into the car. Inside, the interior smelled faintly of cedar and something darker, like stormy nights and secrets kept too long. The city passed by in a blur as they drove away from the glittering streets and deeper into a part of the city rarely touched by light. Finally, the car slowed before tall iron gates. The structure behind them was enormous. Not a home, but a fortress. Cold stone walls, towering windows, a place built to protect or imprison. The driver opened the door, guiding her toward the entrance. Damien stood there waiting, not in that controlled businessman stance he held earlier, but tense, hands shoved deep into his pockets, jaw locked as if he were fighting himself. You came, he murmured. You told me to, Olivia replied. Damien exhaled, a sound of relief, or maybe regret. I should warn you, he said, lowering his voice. Once you enter this door, your life will no longer be the same. The wind held suddenly, rattling the iron gates behind them. Olivia met his eyes, courage rising through the cracks of her broken heart. Maybe that's what I need. Damien looked at her for a long moment, then opened the door. A cold shadow swept across the ground behind him, moving on its own. Damien's mansion swallowed Olivia the moment she stepped inside, ceilings so high they disappeared into darkness, marble floors cold beneath her heels, and chandeliers dripping silver light like frozen stars. It felt like walking into another world, one untouched by warmth. A maid approached with cautious steps, eyes lowered. Mr. Knight, she whispered. Everything is prepared. Damien nodded. Thank you. Rosa, he turned to Olivia. Please, let me show you to a room where you can rest. The softness in his voice surprised her. He led her down a long corridor lined with portraits, stern faces, powerful gazes, and a strange family resemblance that made Olivia shiver. Each frame appeared old, too old. The eyes in the paintings seemed to follow her, silently judging. Your family? She asked. Damien's gaze flicked to the portraits, expression unreadable. Some ties should remain in the past. Not exactly an answer. Finally, he stopped before a beautiful guest room decorated with white roses and warm lights, a sharp contrast to the mansion's chilling aura. If you need anything, he said. Pick up the phone on the bedside table. It connects directly to me. Olivia nodded, but noticed something. He looked relieved she had a door to separate them. As he turned to leave, she reached out without thinking, fingers brushing his sleeve. Damien froze. His breathing hitched. Just once, before he gently stepped away. You should rest, he said, more to himself than to her, and disappeared into the shadows of the hallway. Hours passed before Olivia ventured out again. The mansion was silent, moonlight casting long shadows across the floors. She followed an unfamiliar hallway, curiosity tugging at her, until she reached a massive door at the end. Iron locks, heavy chains. Carved into the wood was a single emblem, a raven with silver eyes. Her pulse quickened. Why was only this part of the mansion sealed shut? A sudden voice behind her made her gasp. You shouldn't be here. Damien stood a few feet away, his expression darker than she had ever seen. Silence crackled between them like electricity. What's in this room? Olivia asked softly. His jaw clenched. Memories, ones that should never be opened. Olivia stepped closer, refusing to be frightened. Are you in danger? His eyes locked with hers, stormy, conflicted, desperate. I am the danger, Olivia. He looked like a man built of secrets and sorrow, a man terrified she might uncover what he had spent years trying to bury. Before she could speak again, a sharp thud echoed from behind the locked door, followed by a low growl that didn't sound human. Olivia stumbled back. Damien shifted instantly, protective, alert, like a beast unleashed. Go to your room, he ordered, voice edged with fear. But now, the growling grew louder, closer. Damien stepped in front of her, shielding her with his body. Something behind that door wanted out. Olivia backed away from the chain door as the growling shook the air again, deeper this time, like something massive dragging its claws across the floor. Damien stepped forward, eyes narrowed, fists clenched, as if resisting the urge to tear the metal locks apart himself. After a tense silence, the noise died. The house breathed again. Damien took a slow breath. You shouldn't have come here. This part of my life. It's not safe for anyone. Olivia's voice was barely a whisper. What was that? He stared at the door, eyes shadowed with a pain that felt ancient. A mistake. One that has cost me far more than you can imagine. There was a vulnerability in his tone, raw and unguarded. And for a moment, Olivia glimpsed the man beneath the billionaire armor. Not dangerous, not monstrous, just haunted. Let me help you, she said. Damien turned sharply, disbelief and frustration clashing on his face. Help me, he laughed once, humorless. You have no idea what I am, Olivia. He took a step closer, close enough that she could feel the tension radiating off him like heat. People who get close to me, his voice cracked. Just slightly, they disappear. Her heart thudded, not from fear, from the ache in his eyes. What happened to you? She murmured. Damien looked away, fists tightening at his sides. For years ago, I trusted someone I loved. A pause, breath shaky. They turned me into this. He didn't specify what this was, but Olivia understood. He wasn't just hiding a creature behind a locked door. He feared that creature was also inside him. Suddenly, a loud crash tore through the hallway. Glass, shattering somewhere deeper in the mansion. Damien stiffened. A flicker, barely a second, flashed in his irises, a glowing silver ring replacing the rich hazel of his eyes. Olivia gasped. Your eyes? He blinked hard. The glow vanished. Stay behind me, he commanded. Instead, she stepped beside him. I'm not afraid of you. Damien stared at her like she had spoken the one truth he never allowed himself to believe. Slowly, he reached out, fingers grazing her cheek, hesitant, reverent, as if she might disappear if he touched too firmly. You should be, he whispered. A sudden, violent bang echoed from the foyer, followed by the distant screech of twisting steel, as though someone, or something, was ripping the mansion apart to find them. Damien exhaled sharply. They've come, he said. Who? Olivia asked, pulse racing. Damien looked toward the darkness swallowing the hall, shoulders squared, voice cold as steel. The ones who cursed me. The sound of splintering wood echoed through the mansion as if giants were tearing it apart piece by piece. Damien positioned himself in front of Olivia, breathing sharp and controlled, like a predator preparing for war. What do they want from you? Olivia whispered. Damien turned to her, face inches from hers, conflicted, protective, afraid for the first time. They don't want me, he said. They want you. Olivia stumbled back. Me? I don't understand. You were never supposed to enter my life, Damien murmured, hands trembling though his stance remained firm. But fate plays cruel games. A roar shattered the 4 windows. Olivia flinched, covering her ears as icy wind surged inside, carrying the scent of metal and rain. Shadows shifted. Figures climbed into the mansion, dressed in black armor with masks like snarling beasts. Their eyes glowed the same silver Damien's had moments ago. Hunters, not of animals, of monsters. The leader stepped forward, voice echoing like thunder. Damien Knight, you've broken the code. You brought her here. Damien pushed Olivia gently behind him. Leave her out of this. The masked man tilted his head. We cannot. She carries the mark. The same mark as the beast you keep locked away. Olivia froze. What mark? The leader raised a hand. Light flickered, revealing faint silver lines glowing beneath Olivia's skin, forming the shape of a raven with gleaming eyes. Her chest tightened, breath stolen. No, she whispered. What did you do to me? Damien looked shattered. Not me. Them. He pointed toward the hunters. They did this to both of us. The room seemed to collapse around her. This mark. What does it mean? Damien stepped close, voice trembling with truth. It means your life is bound to mine. Our fates intertwined. And if they take me, he cupped her face, raw desperation in his touch. They take you. The hunters charged. Damien spun around, eyes blazing silver, but stronger this time, brighter, like he had finally unleashed the storm inside him. The air rippled. A force exploded outward, knocking the intruders off their feet. Olivia stared, breath stolen. Damien wasn't the monster behind the locked door. He was the one protecting the world from the real monster. A final rumble shook the mansion. The chain door at the end of the hall groaned, locks snapping one by one. A chilling growl rumbled out. The true beast was waking up. Damien grabbed Olivia's hand, voice fierce and urgent. Run! And whatever happens, don't look back. But Olivia did look back, and she saw 2 glowing silver eyes staring at her from the darkness. Eyes that looked heartbreakingly familiar, like her own.